You can be sitting in a crowded room, surrounded by people who love you, and still feel entirely cut off from the rest of humanity. It is a precise, heavy sensation, a quiet conviction that there is a glass wall between you and the rest of the world. Mother Teresa described this feeling of being unwanted as the most terrible poverty. It is a state of spiritual depletion that persists even when every material need is met, a soul-level isolation that money and comfort cannot reach. Clinical psychology identifies this as the legacy of the ignored child. This trauma is defined by a lack of early emotional attunement, a wound formed by the vital support and recognition that a caregiver failed to provide during those first formative years. Naming the trauma is a necessary start, but understanding the clinical why rarely fills the void on its own. Many adults find themselves intellectually aware of their neglect, yet still trapped in the same emotional ache. To move from diagnosing the wound to an actual restoration of the self, we must look to a 2,500-year-old perspective that reframes this emptiness entirely. When a child grows up without emotional resonance, they learn that their internal world is invisible. This realization often leads to an anxious, insecure attachment style, where the individual spends their life scanning for the connection they were originally denied. This anxiety drives a relentless cycle. To fill the void, the individual enters high-performance survival, people-pleasing, overachieving, and begging for validation. But this strategy is doomed. External validation provides a momentary spike, but fails to build internal self-regulation, plunging them deeper into isolation. The harder you struggle to force a connection, the more you reinforce the feeling that you are separate. The effort to fix your loneliness has become the very thing that sustains it. The ancient philosopher Laozi offered an alternative to this frantic striving. His teachings in the Daodejing suggest that our hyperactive instinct to fix ourselves is actually our greatest obstacle. In the original text, Laozi describes our emotional state as a pool of muddy water. Panicking is like trying to pull the dirt out with your bare hands. You think you are cleaning the water, but your movements only keep the sediment in motion. Your people-pleasing and your self-criticism are just more hands in the water. They don't capture the mud. They simply ensure the pool stays dark, chaotic, and murky. Fighting your existential loneliness is the exact mechanism that keeps the water from clearing. By aggressively trying to heal the flaw, you prevent the conditions necessary for clarity to emerge. Western conditioning teaches us that internal emptiness is a defect, a hollow space that we must stuff with noise, relationships, and busy work to avoid the terror of being alone. In Chapter 11, Laozi points to the way we mold clay into a vessel. While clay defines the bowl's shape, its utility comes from the empty center. Without that void, the vessel cannot hold anything. The emptiness makes it functional. This is the necessary paradigm shift. The void in your chest isn't a broken component that needs a patch. It is a sacred, open space that allows you to receive the world as it actually is, rather than how your anxieties demand. Healing an ignored child requires a total cessation of the struggle. This is the practice of Wu Wei, or effortless action, the realization that our frantic survival instincts are now the primary obstacles to our peace. Laozi asks, who can make the muddy water clear? His answer is simple: let it be still. When the agitation stops, the sediment naturally sinks. Without the constant energy of your anxiety to keep the mud in suspension, the water returns to its original transparent state. This requires a profound softness toward yourself. Instead of judging the loneliness or rushing to fix the emptiness, you must offer yourself the gentle, silent presence you were denied as a child. You are finally giving yourself the attention that doesn't demand a performance in return. The pain of living without love is real, but the cure is surrendering the need to change who you are. By allowing your muddy waters to settle, you return to your root. The agonizing loneliness of the ignored child is replaced by a peaceful, resilient solitude. Are you ready to stop stirring your waters today?